Right, well, some of you asked for an equipment tour, so I'm providing. Okay, so some of you wanted to see the old Nissan Patrol here. I don't know why Nissan here has so many fans, but here you go, here's the Nissan. So this particular ute is a Nissan Patrol. I don't know the exact model. I'm pretty sure if the Nissan could talk, he would tell me himself, but this is a 1994 Nissan Patrol single cab. It's our workshop ute. So obviously we've got our workshop stuff all in this big toolbox. We've got all the tools and stuff. We got a crane arm, which you briefly saw in one of my previous videos where a bloke who was helping us got it stuck between the sprayer boom in here, and we've also got the air compressor. This ute, how do I put this? Needs a bit of work to it, I'd say. If anyone's a Nissan buff and would like to restore this thing, well, I don't know how many hours is on this, but it's done a few Ks. This used to be a fisherman's ute up in Drought. We bought it on the cheap back in 2015 when the Land Rover croaked, essentially. So, yeah, you can see in there, it's got a pretty small cab. Sorry if it's a bit shaky there. I'm trying to improve my filming. It's small. I'm a big person about, I won't say how tall I am, but you get the feeling that I got big legs. And that Nissan, you can't exactly put the seat back, so I don't necessarily like driving this thing because you can't maneuver the steering wheel, so it's pretty difficult for me to drive this thing. That's why I leave it to Dad. Now, the reason why the Nissan has a red door, funny story actually. When we bought this back in 2015, the doors that originally came with this ute were totaled. They essentially had bashed up handles and stuff, and you couldn't get into them. So essentially we bought a set of doors that would fit onto this, and we replaced the door. In fact, I think we got the other one still in the shed. Yeah, Dad's just going out in the Kubota to get some straw bales and stuff, and we are going to continue with the equipment tour. So that is the Nissan done. Now we're getting on to this truck here. This is our old Mitsubishi FM. I don't exactly know when it was built because it's well before my time, much like the Caterpillar there. This was built sometime in the 90s. We got it around 1995. We originally intended to use this as a sheep truck, which we still use it for, except for the fact that we don't necessarily use it anymore. Mostly due to the fact that we usually get contractors to cart our sheep to the sheep sales. But it's a nice truck, runs well. We haven't taken that out much. Really should use it more. And now we get to the tractor that started it all. This, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is Cat. Cat, this is, well, you're on YouTube now, old boy. This tractor was my grandfather's first tractor. This was the one that started it all. Without this tractor, our farm would be what it is today. It's an old 1954 Caterpillar D47U. It has 57 horsepower, and well, it's looking a bit poor in the years, but she still runs. I should say. And yeah, we used to pull the plow on this back in the old days, and this would clear most of the bush, and it was this tractor that helped raise the shearing shed, which was one of the first buildings on the farm. Obviously now it's got stuff around it, and well, you can't exactly steer it because it can only turn left. It won't turn right. Because after an accident back in the early 90s, when we had it on an external block, it got stuck in the mud. So Pop wanted to save this old tractor, and he towed it all the way back home, put it on the low loader, and then drove it back in here where it sits today. He intended to restore this before he died. He never got round to it. But I have plans for this tractor. I will do it justice. We are going to eventually find the time to clean it up, get all the dirt and stuff off it. All this dirt and stuff, that was from when it was stuck in the mud back in the 90s. This tractor has seen it all, basically. It hasn't left the shed since it was brought home, though. As you can see, it has a bit of stuff around it. Obviously, Pop wasn't very good at organising things. But eventually, we will take this tractor and put it to some good use. Maybe we'll restore it, give it some new paint. What do you reckon? Should we start a fundraiser for the Caterpillar tractor? Save the Cat Fund. Maybe, well, it was actually this tractor that kind of got me into tractors, really, from the old Thomas the Tank Engine TV shows type of thing, where Terence the Tractor was based on a tractor similar to this. Now, that was a 1930s model, this is a 1950s, so not exactly different there, but still. Anyway, onward. So in here, we have the very much star of the show type of thing. This is our 2015 John Deere 855D Gator, which has been lovingly nicknamed Gator. We've got a few hours on him. He usually sits in here most of the time when he's not out mustering sheep. The problem with this thing is, well, we've put way too much stress on the poor old thing. It's lost all its stickers from its years of use. He's been good to us. He's been our main workhorse in terms of mustering. And if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have the Kubota. When we bought this thing, back in 2015, Dad jumped the fence on his little two-wheeler Honda motorbike. He broke his arm, completely smashed his elbow, and damaged a bit of his shoulder pad. Mum said afterwards, no more motorbikes without a helmet. And, well, let's see how many hours we got on her. 300 and, I don't know, something like that. Anyway, we're going to use the Gator here to transport us around today. Let's start them up. So, since Dad sold all the motorbikes due to Mum's request, we got this thing instead. It's good. It's been very good to us. Oh yeah, there's the 1991 Land Cruiser over there. We'll get to him later. And there's also the 2008 Holden Rodeo. Come on, get out the way, guinea fowls. Gator coming through. So now we get my favourite vehicle of all time, the old 1994 Ford Courier. I have a lot of history with this ute, and I'm very proud of them. So this ute was originally a headmaster's ute down in Narrogin, and we picked it up sometime in the mid-90s. I don't know exactly what year because Dad hasn't told me. And since then, it's been our run-around ute. It did the job that the Holden did. But, yeah, now it's my ute. So, a fun fact is, If you remember way back in my early FS17 series, I always used to have red utes. Well, you can thank the old Ford Courier for that. He's an old beast, this one. He's getting on in years, had quite a few dents in him. This was the first ute I learned to drive. And, well, obviously he's got a few dents here and there. No thanks to certain incidences, of which I'm not really going to mention. And, well, his main job, as you saw, is the rubbish tip run. That's mostly what we used to use it before it became the bus bomb. And then after I stopped going to a certain school, this was retired from bus bomb duty not too long ago. Now, it's my personal ute. I ride around almost everywhere in the farm in this. And it's given me some fond memories. It will have certainly a lot more time in the videos. Right. The super shed's usually really busy at this time of year, but it's empty on this one occasion. This is our well, we call it the super shed because well, it's big and I came up with creative names, and it also is commonly used to house our granular fertilizer in this big pit here in during seeding, which you can still see the remnants. So now we get to one of the most interesting cases on the farm here. This is, well, it's an old family truck, really. This is a 1979 Kenworth K100 flatbed. I've shown it once in my videos before. And yeah, this is our main truck. And we nicknamed this thing the Uncle Ken. Interesting story behind that. So the reason why we call this truck the Uncle Ken is because my grandfather's brother, who was named Ken, owned a trucking business down south, and this was one of his favourite trucks to drive. It's a flatbed. Obviously we've got the seed and super bin on it right now, but you saw earlier on in the video there was a red bin sitting up at the workshop. That's the grain bin. This truck is mainly a flatbed truck. We can take the seed and super bin off and put the grain bin on it, or we could just take them both off and use it as a hay truck sometimes. But yeah, I'll do another video talking about this at a later date when we've got it out of the shed, so it's easier to see. This truck has a lot of stories behind it, I tell you what. Welcome to the backyard, everyone. This is the little paddock below the sheds where we store equipment too big to go inside. It's also where we have the tractors most of the time when we don't put them away. First off here, we've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tractors around here. The sixth one, the spray tractor, is currently out the paddock, so we probably won't get time to film it. First off, we are going to get to our forklift tractor. This tractor is a Case IH JX70 built back in 2007, and it was shipped here sometime during that year. It's an open station with a sunroof, and it is basically our loader tractor, but we've got a forklift on it. This is a Berta CCM 1-ton forklift, and it's pretty much permanently attached to the tractor. Although we can take it off in theory because this has a 3-point linkage. We could take it off in theory, but we'd probably get an expert to do it, seeing as it would probably land flat on the ground. This tractor is rated about 70 horsepower, and this was my grandfather's final tractor that he bought before he died. Fun fact, we nicknamed this tractor after a certain tractor on a stop motion TV show that I used to watch as a kid, the Red Tractor. That's where this gets its name. I'm trying not to plagiarise the name, but that's just what we call it. If it wasn't for that TV show, Pop wouldn't have bought this, so to whoever created that TV show, thank you. This tractor has about a lot of hours on it. Went through quite a few changes throughout the years. It's been alright, except it's well, it's about I was 10 years old back in 2017. The Drought was 17, where we didn't put a crop in. We've got basically how we power the forklift is we've got these 3 sticks that run through these hydraulic hoses and stuff up through this shaft, and that lift and lower. Obviously this is not very good because the lights would only shine onto there, and not very good. Originally this had a spotlight right up there that Pop fitted himself, but when we sent this tractor off to have an overhaul a couple of years back, it came back without the light. So obviously someone thought it a good idea to take this tractor's light away. It's got a 3-point linkage at the back. We mostly use this as a utility tractor. It's basically our yard tractor. We use it to lift pallets and bales and all sorts. Oftentimes it goes on sometimes it goes on the hay cutter, sometimes it goes on the hay rake during hay season, and at harvest time it goes on the field bins, which we will also get to later. Now we get to the other red tractor on the farm. You can't say that we're mostly green boys because of, well, we've got rainbow colours mostly. This is our 1970 something, either 1979 to 1982, don't know exactly, I haven't checked the serial number, Massey Ferguson 2675. This tractor was bought used by my dad back in 92 as his first spray tractor. It's got a bunch of hours on it, and well, it's been all right for us. It's rated around 102, 103 horsepower, around there, and oh, it's been all right for us. The only problem is Dad originally intended to trade this thing off for a tractor with hay forks. Nobody wanted it because it's too old. And that's the case for most of these tractors. Nobody really wants them, so that's why it stayed on. This tractor is, well, it's our other yard tractor. It doesn't do much most of the year. Obviously right now we've got it on the old scraper, which we use to scrape rocks out of the field before coming along with the air seeder. This used to go on an old Easter egg sprayer, so named because of the Easter egg tank on it. And now most of the time we use it on the field bins, which are down there behind the other tractor. We were originally intending to use this as an extra hay cutting tractor. Only problem is it hasn't got a door. Mostly due to the fact that the frame along here for the door to sit on, it would stick. That was a big problem. So we basically ripped the door off it. Now we can just simply climb up into the cab here. Makes it very simple at harvest time. Only trouble is, fresh are falling out. That's the only trouble with this. You lot knew it was coming from a mile away. I had to put Big Green in here. This is Big Green. He is our 1992 John Deere 8760. We bought him back in 1999, second hand after a farm close by to us traded him in for a 9400. Dad drove him back here. This was a big upgrade compared to his old John Deere 4640 from the 80s. We mostly used this tractor for a number of years on the air seeder. Now it's mainly our tillage and also chaser bin tractor. Although the Kelly chain hasn't done a very good job. This is our Kelly chain Diamond Harrow 40. It was built sometime in the 2010s and we got it as an alternative measure to ploughing. Now the problem with this was, if you remember some of my videos where I was a Kelly chain driver, these back discs are the main problem. They block up and they also make the ground very, 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 very rocky to work in. So, well, you can't say that we like our Kelly chain, can you? I mostly like the tractor, I don't necessarily like the Kelly chain. Yeah. We'll probably trade that Kelly chain in eventually for a speed disc. I'm not going to give up Big Green just yet. This tractor, being a 1992, is going to have his 30th birthday next year. And, well, after that point, he's going to be very expensive to maintain. But he will stay on the farm. He will stay on the farm as my own tractor. Even if we can't find a job for him to do, he'll be a backup tractor just in case anything breaks down. Because you can, well, I'm going against my grandfather's saying of you can only have one four-wheel drive tractor. Well, we broke that when we bought that thing. Alright, you happy with me now? This is our main workhorse, which we nicknamed Big Blue. He is a 2004 TJ375, rated at 375 horsepower originally. But with the computer chip and stuff inside the engine, we got it mapped. Now it's around 400 horsepower. So we use this mostly to pull the air seeder, and if one of the other tractors fail, then we also use it as a temporary measure to rescue things like the Kelly chain. This tractor has pulled most of our air seeders since we bought it, and also attempted to be on the chase bin, but not a good idea. Not a good idea. This now is a custom air seeder bar that we built I should say. A number of things we once knew about this. The press wheels are the main downfall to this. They are too thin. When we bought the tines from Macintosh, always make sure you get the proper press wheels. They gave us the wrong ones. Now the crop's a little bit deep by about, I don't know, 4 inches. Yeah. This bar has gone through a number of changes through the years. This was originally a multi-planter. It had its original tines on it, and we originally used this before we modified it drastically. Now it's air seeder bar that we are going to keep using for the majority of the years to come. Hopefully with replacements to the press wheels and stuff. Now we get on to the tank. Here we have our Gator Series 2120 RT air seeder cart. We bought this last year along with the John Deere 1820 40-foot air seeder bar. This tank is, well, I can safely say it's much better than St. Morris ones over there. This has a liquid setup. It has this big liquid tank here, which we put our own fertilizer in. And then it's got the seed bin there, and then it's got the granular fertilizer, so we can use different methods of fert if we want to when we put it in the ground. This cart has been good. Apart from the little facts that last year this axle kaput. It sat in the paddock for about a month or two until we brought it home and fixed it. Which is where we discovered the downfall of big fat press wheels that are about this tall. If it wasn't for this air cart, we wouldn't have discovered that maybe it's time we get better tines for the air seeder bar. Now we're going to talk about the headers. Oh boy, here we go. So our history with headers, we mostly stuck with red ones. Until, of course, Dad went and made the mistake, which he admits, of buying this thing, a 2004 Gleaner R75. This header was originally down in the southern part of WA, along the border with South Australia and the town of Esperance, where it and its sister header used to harvest 5-ton wheat crops and stuff. This header is, let's just call it a lemon for the sake of it. Yeah, it was a mistake. This thing we bought in late 2014, didn't arrive here till 2015, so we still had to use the old Inter 2366, which we should have traded for a Johnny, let's just say. How do I put it? The header was a lemon when it arrived here. It would not harvest a crop well. The front was bent, let's just say. The header front for this combine is bent beyond belief. It's literally frowning. And, well, we just don't like it. We hate gleaners. Tip of advice for all those thinking on trading up from an Inter to either a John Deere or a Gleaner. Don't get the Gleaner. No matter what your neighbours say, just don't. Go with the John Deere. John Deeres are much better. Just don't trust Gleaner, or especially the older ones. But without this Gleaner, we wouldn't tell the story of the John Deere. Picture this. It was back in 2018. We didn't want to fix up the Gleaner, we wanted to trade it off for something else. So Dad and I would go around all the machinery dealerships in our area and ask him, would you want to trade our Gleaner for one of your headers? Put it this way, we were originally intending for a Class 580 instead of the Gleaner. But after he said no, Macintosh said no, Class said no, we were running out of options. So, with all hope seeming lost and almost giving in and selling this thing to neighbours, which we didn't, thankfully, last minute we went to the farm which had a clearing sale, which we bought the 8760 from. And then we bought this beast. Now the history of this John Deere header goes a bit way back to about 2002 when it was built, 2 years before the Gleaner. It worked on a farm near Carnama, which is a couple of hours away from us, where it was originally bought from the now AFRI dealer there. It worked alongside a fellow 9750 SDS during that life there. But when that farm decided that they wanted to trade it up, AFRI at the time, which have changed the name from Waltons, they said, look, we'll give you a new header, but you have to sell, but you can keep the older ones because we don't want them, basically. So this header basically sat around in a shed doing nothing. Until, of course, it went clearing sale to clearing sale. Nobody wanted to buy it. Poor old header was looking like scrap was in its future. Until, of course, we came along. We bought it for about $20,000 at a clearing sale back in 2018, secondhand. It needs a lot of work to it. The poor old header has been through the wars. Basically, it needs new augers, it needs a new feeder house, belt and floor, because that's all rusty. It's got most of its original parts on it. Dad told me because we don't necessarily have the funds to fix the John Deere, we're going to have to use the gleaner. Now I got on to the shed of the trailers and the trucks. First off, we're going to cover this trailer here. This is a Matrix or something trailer. This usually goes behind the Uncle Ken at harvest time when we used to use it. It's a bit small now, had a bit of issues last harvest, so we had to take the hydraulic pulley from the Bedford to put on that to make it work again. Now we get on to the Grain King 24-ton chaser bin. Oh, 25 ton I should say. This is a true fab chaser bin. It was built in the early 2010s. It originally belonged to our neighbours, but due to the fact that they traded up their chaser bin, we bought it. We bought it off them, and because we never had a chaser bin before this one, it was a very different experience. Let's just say, we originally tried this on the TJ. TJ didn't like it. It would bump it, it would bash it, it would just... No. Don't put a blue tractor on a green and yellow grain cart. That's not how it works. So we put Big Green on it. Big Green, let's just say, loves doing chase bin duty. And I love doing it. Last year was my first full-time job of chase bin driving for Dad. And yeah. Usually this chase bin would be PTO driven, as you can see the box there. There would usually be a PTO shaft running along there, but it was hydraulic converted to our tractor, so it doesn't necessarily need a PTO, which is good for our tractor because it doesn't have a PTO shaft. Now we get on to the old Bedford truck. This is mostly a feed truck we use for taking screenings out and that sort of thing. This was the original main truck before the Uncle Ken came to the farm in 1985. This is an old about 50 years old, I think. Came at around the time that Dad was just a young boy back in the 70s. And this was our main truck for everything. It used to cart sheep, it used to cart grain, it used to cart cattle. This was the truck that we used to cart the last of our cattle to the sale yards in Perth back in 1975. Obviously now it's very old, but Dad's done it good. He's given it new radiator, the engine purrs. It could use some cosmetic stuff, but apart from that, it's a good truck. Good truck. I haven't had the chance to drive it yet though, because I haven't got my truck license yet. So this is our cherry picker truck. It's much newer than the old 90s trucks. Well, I don't exactly know the story behind this. Basically, Dad bought it for ease and maintenance of windmills and stuff. Obviously now we're starting to retire our windmills, but this is still going to get some use, especially after Cyclone. We would bring this out to try and get the internet set up over at the place we're staying, which some of you know on my Discord server, link in the description. Anyway, this truck has a box on the top. This truck's main role was trying to get the farm back to working order and stuff. We use this mostly to put tarp and stuff over the windows in the shearing shed so the wind wouldn't come in and blow everything around the place when we were living in the shearing shed. Yeah, it's a good truck. done as well. Then of course I haven't talked about the Kubota. This is our 2020 Kubota RTV X1120 diesel. We bought this as an alternative to selling the old Polaris 4-wheel motorbike, as an extra mustering vehicle to help the Gator. It's been good. That's all I can say. So we're out here, out at the one of the top tanks here on the farm. We got the sprayer here, we got the tractor, and we've also got the 2 trucks. And first off, we're gonna cover the 2 trucks before getting onto the 7810 and also the sprayer. So this truck here is our Hino truck that we bought about, would it be last year? Yeah, we bought this not too long ago, and it's acted as our spray truck and also the firefighter at harvest time. It's we don't know exactly when it was built. Dad reckons that it's sometime in the 80s, along with the Mitsubishi truck. This was originally used as a horse crate and had a big horse box on the back of it, but we got rid of the horse box and put the spray tank on there, which originally was on the Mitsubishi, and now it's one of our spray trucks, which we use to fill up the sprayer. The second truck we have here is the other Mitsubishi FM, I think it is, built back in, we also don't know when it was. We bought this used in the mid-90s. We don't exactly know the year it was made, but yeah, this truck was the second one we got. It's a multi-purpose truck. We use it for all sorts of things. Right now it's got the Courier spray tank on its tray, fertilizer tank on it. In previous times we would use it with that tank that's on the Hino now as a firefighter. We've also used it as a bale truck and also carrying pallets and stuff. It's made a few trips to town and such. As such, it's still got its number plate, which I will blur out in the video, because secret identity. Got to keep the secret identity there. And yeah, runs all right. For some strange reason, Pop gave it a silly nickname, a swear word. Instead of Mitsubishi, it's Mrs. Blow this out, Mrs. B. Don't know why he called it that, but well, Pop was Pop. Now we get to one of the newest pieces of gear on the farm here. Not the tractor's 20 years old. This tractor was bought brand new back in 2001. It's a 2001 John Deere 7810, rated around 175 horsepower. And this is our main multi-purpose tractor. It's had a lot of uses in its time, and obviously it's had quite a few upgrades throughout the years. Originally, it didn't have this curved pipe. It had its original black pipe that was standard on these tractors, until of course we modified it for a tractor exhaust system, which you may have seen in the background of most of the videos. To do this, we had to get rid of the original exhaust pipe, and we welded this pipe along here, where there would be a carbon tank that's out along the front here. The downside to that is now it's got this weird short pipe, and well, it didn't really work too well. But now we're not using that carbon system due to, well, we have that thing. This was originally my grandfather's tractor. He used it for all sorts of things. Basically what happened was, when Dad got Big Green back in 1999, Pop thought he'd sell his old Versatile 555, and that combined with property in town, he sold that and got this tractor instead. This was his main tractor at the time, and he'd use it for ploughing, seeding. Dad would use it for spraying when he got the old Hardy, and we're still using it for spraying. We'd also put it on the hay cutter, the hay rake, and also the hay baler as well. And now it's got its new pair of tyres. Now we got the newest of the new forms of equipment on the farm here. This is our 2020 Gold Acres Prairie Pro 5028, made in Victoria and trucked to us here in WA. So far, I haven't been in the tractor to really experience it working. Well, to put it simply, the spray is good. It's been good so far. Now we get to our second last pieces of equipment that we're going to show off today. The fuel trailer and also the loader over there with the rock picker. So this fuel trailer is, well, it's a, I guess you could call it a kit bash. It's more of like a homemade fuel trailer that we mostly made this ourselves from an old frame, from an old trailer, and also the tank. And I think there's a toolbox here as well. It doesn't open. And yeah, we've had this trailer for most of the farm's history. I think it was made back in the... Dad just confirmed that it wasn't made by us. It was made by one of his uncles and given to us. I don't know exactly when it was made. When was it made, Dad?
Late 70s, early 80s.
There you go, late 70s, early 80s, and well, it's
We've modified it.
It's been modified a lot, as you can quite clearly tell. This is not the original state of the fuel trailer. Like Dad said, we've modified it. And now we get to the main rock disposal machine, and also the main loader of the farm, the Worldwide Construction Machinery 938K. This is a Chinese built loader that was bought brand new by us back in 2015, 2016, somewhere around that, because the old loader we had, well, it was old, put it that way. And this loader has well, it's been good in its early career for us. This was one of the first vehicles I drove, and it's got, well, it's a big loader, put it this way. I don't know the exact horsepower on it, but it's easy to drive. It's our main loader, and then we get to the Hi-Mac. We mostly use this loader for things like picking rocks, chipping bush, and then loading up fertilizer at seeding time, and lifting pallets, lifting stuff while we're trying to fix stuff, that type of thing. Now we get to the Hi-Mac attachment rock picker, made especially for our loader. This is a 2020 rock picker. We got it when we sold around the time we sold the green taggers last year. We basically bought that, and we also bought the Kubota at that time. Yeah, well, we've had a bit of trouble at first to try and get it to fit, but hey, it works. And well, I haven't really seen it in action yet, but it does its job. We've managed to pick some rocks with it, but the reason why it's on this side of the road when it was on the other side of the road that time is because yesterday Dad tried picking rocks, and on the real hard rock country where it's all gravelly, the loader basically started sinking in, and he thought, may as well bring it home today. So that's what we're going to do after this. So yeah, there's our loader, powered by a Cummins engine as well. I'm a bit iffy about this loader nowadays. We'll see how it goes. It works. Now, before we get to our final piece of machinery and then the end of the video, there are a few things that I forgot to mention. We also have the Chamberlain 9G that's it in the shed. I didn't film that because I didn't get the time to. And also, thank you for 200 subscribers. It's been a long time coming. 4 years of the channel. Yeah, I didn't upload much during 2020, and I'm sorry for that. But there are more videos on the way. I will be taking a 5-week hiatus after the video is published, because on Monday, well, like I mentioned in previous videos, I have an education to uphold, so I won't be out here most of the time. But remember, if you want to support us, spread the hashtag save the Johnny header or fix the Johnny header, and also give the video a thumbs up if you haven't done so already. And I know there hasn't been much views on the previous videos, but well, we got to do what we got to do. And I know some of my viewers out there are going through rough times at the moment. Well, as you can quite clearly see, we're going through rough times at the moment too. I mean, the insurance still hasn't come to fix the house and sheds and stuff. They won't pay us out, so we can't do anything. It's troublesome. But yeah, in other news, the farming simulator map is making progress. We're just passing field number 1 right here. This is field number 1 in real life. It's making progress. At the time of recording this, center paddock, which we were just in to explain the loader, and also this field number 1 and field number 2 cutting down past these tanks. At the time that's all done, and also the rubbish bin paddock. I'm going to test that this afternoon after we get back. And yeah, it's been a long journey. I started this channel when I was still young. Times have changed. I've grown up with this channel. Past 4 years have been very good. At 1K subscribers, I will do a face reveal. And at the time that 1K will happen, if we can get to 1K by the end of the year, I will bombshell a big announcement concerning the farm. Some exciting news and some sad news concerning this farm. But yeah, now without further ado, so the last vehicle and the very not least vehicle is Dad's Land Cruiser. This is a 1991 Toyota single cab Land Cruiser, and well, we use it for a number of things. Sometimes as get around vehicle, sometimes we use it to go roo shooting and stuff. It's fitted with a spotlight, and yeah. Oh yeah, and it was bought at the clearing sale in 2006. Thanks for watching, everyone. I've been the Johnny Man, you've been my audience, and see you next time.